Hi, everyone. So, for this week's readings and activities, a few things really stood out to me. And honestly, they all tied together more than I expected. The big themes were pretty consistent: how our emotions shape our health, how stress shows up in our bodies and behaviors, and how behavior changes is really an emotional process, not just a logical one. When I looked across the readings, the message was pretty clear. Positive emotions aren't just nice, they're psychologically protective. And stress isn't just feeling overwhelmed, it's a full body response that affects everything from our immune system to our performance. Another theme was that behavior change doesn't happen because someone knows what to do. It happens when they feel supported, capable, and emotionally ready. If you want to dig deeper into any of these, you can just jump into positive effect or stress physiology. My take on the behavior change session. So, the behavior change session this week really highlighted how much emotion drives action. When people feel encouraged or understood, they open up, they try things, they're willing to reflect. I noticed that the small wins and the reflective questions created a kind of momentum like, okay, I can really actually do this. It reminds me that behavior change isn't about giving someone a perfect plan. It's about helping them feel safe enough and confident enough to take the next step. If you want to explore the theory behind that, check out motivational interviewing. Now, to how to positive effect impacts health. One of the coolest parts of the readings was how much positive influence affects health. It boosts resilience, improves cardiovascular function, and strengthens the immune system. And it also helps the behavior change because when people feel good, they're more open, more flexible, and more willing to try new habits. It's basically the broaden and build idea, which are positive emotions widen our perspective and help us along or build long term resources. You can explore that through the broaden and build theory. Do we need to reduce stress? This was interesting because the answer is kind of yes, but also not exactly. We don't need to eliminate stress. That's impossible and honestly not even helpful. Stress can enhance performance when it's at the highest or the right level. The problem is chronic stress, the kind that never shuts off. The readings emphasize strategies like mindfulness, movement, sleep, and reframing how we interpret stress. These aren't just self care tips, they're ways to regulate our physiology so stress doesn't become toxic. If you want to explore strategies, here's a link to stress reduction approaches. Moving on to stress, health, and performance. Stress plays a huge role in overall health. Short term stress can sharpen focus and boost performance, but long term stress wears down almost every system in the body. It affects sleep, mood, immune function, and even how well we stick to healthy behaviors. Performance wise, too much stress narrows our attention and makes decision making harder. It's that Yorkes or the Yerkes Dodson curve. A little stress helps, too many hurts. You can explore that curve here, the Yerkes Dodson or the Yerkes Dodson curve. In closing, overall, this week really connected the dots among emotions, stress, and behavior change. Positive effects support health. Stress regulation supports performance, and behavior change sits right in the middle of those two things. It made me think a lot about how we design programs for clients, not just focusing on the what, but on the emotional experience that makes change possible. Thank you all very much for my presentation and listening to what I had to say. Have a great day.